Good evening. This is Professor Ferguson, and I'm your instructor for International Business, INT113. And I'm looking forward to meeting with each of you and getting to know you. And hopefully you will find this class both rewarding and stimulating. I had scheduled this voluntary live session for 6 p.m. this evening for the purpose of allowing anyone that had a question to drop in and ask it. Often students are too busy at the beginning of a class to do so, so I also usually just introduce myself and record this and upload it to the classroom for future use. And I'll make just a few introductory comments, and if one of your classmates joins me a little late, then we'll stop and introduce them and see what questions they may have. But basically, this is a class that we will be dealing with international business, and we'll be talking about the factors that influence company and country development. Each of you in the beginning of week one will be selecting a country in which to conduct your survey throughout the balance of this course. The comment that I like to explain to students in the very beginning to make it easier is that there's a couple of key factors you need to realize. You need to pick a country. We recommend that you pick it from the list that we recommend in the comment sections. And as you read the introductory comments and the class assignments, you'll see the site that we recommend going to pick that country, because it needs to be a country that has some presence. And we use that. You'll be using that selection or country throughout the balance of the course. And so for the next 8 weeks, you'll always be using that same country. I'm going to hold for a second because it appears somebody's joining us. Well, I'll continue until we see whether or not they actually join the class. It looks like someone is here. Good evening. Can you hear me? Well, while we're waiting to see that she's able to, or he's able to get in, I'll continue with the introductory comments. As you read through the introductory material, you're going to find that you'll be selecting this week a country to be used for the purpose of your introductory, your assignment each week. You'll notice on the screen in front of you the week one discussion question. And if you notice, there's a discussion sample right here. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I was just, you're the first one to arrive, but since everyone's running late, I was going ahead and recording some general comments for the class. So,
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you.
I won't go back to everything I said because you'll be able to see the video as well. But I was just getting started on what the assignment work looks like in this course, and that's really what this introductory is good for, because a lot of students get confused with the assignment. So as I was saying, one of the things you'll be doing early on in this week is you'll be picking a country that you're going to use throughout the whole 8 weeks, and it will be that country that you use for the purposes of learning the material for international business, the introductory course. We recommend that you use a country from one of the sources that are reflected in the literature. There's the World Atlas and the World Facebook, and then there's another site that we talk about in the assignment that we encourage you to pick a country from that list, because those are countries that will be easier for you to find material. But other than that, you can pretty much pick any country you like. What you're going to find is that until you post your country in the discussion, you won't see the other students. And we do that so that you can make your original post without being influenced by the comments of your fellow students. So once you make that selection, that's the country you'll be doing each week. And as you read through the course material, you're going to notice, for example, in this week one discussion, there's a discussion sample. If I open that up each week, you're going to find that the course was done on Turkey. That's the only country that you're not allowed to use as your selection because we're giving you the answers. And basically what's expected is each week you're going to create a post based on the research you do that looks like this one. So you should be using this template as the sample of what your assignment should look like. You can load it up into the discussion forum using the classroom link, or you could, if for some reason you can't make that work properly, you can create your submission in Word and then attach that to your weekly post. That information each week will be unique to that week's assignment. This week we're going to be talking about the country, where it's located, and some of the basic nuances of the culture that you're involved in, and you'll see that as you look at the homework. You'll do that with each country each week, the same country throughout the course. What this course is about is learning how to research uh, information about a country, and then each week is a building block on your final assignment. So in week 1, you're going to submit an assignment. Week 2, you're going to submit an assignment. Week 3, you're going to submit an assignment. And then in week 3, there's a second assignment, which is the checkpoint. And if you look underneath course materials, you're going to find a PowerPoint that's required for you to use for that submission. And basically what you do is you then merge the 1, 2, and week 3 homework assignment that you've done into that PowerPoint presentation, and you submit the PowerPoint only through those 3 weeks, adding your references at the very end. And then you'll then go on and do your weekly assignments for 4, 5, and 6, and then in week 6 you'll do it again, doing your second checkpoint. And at that point you'll take the original checkpoint with your first 3 weeks. You'll make any corrections that I may have given you in the class, and then you'll add the weeks 4, 5, and 6 to that PowerPoint so that it covers then 6 weeks. And I noticed that we have another student that's joined us. Can you hear us? I believe it's Frederica, is it? Okay, she'll probably get in with us in just a minute. So far, does that make sense about what I'm telling you so far, Karina?
Yes.
Okay, so you're really building each week as you go through the 7 or 8 weeks of this course, you're building that final assignment. And where some students get confused is they don't realize that it's a building block. So the 2 checkpoint assignments that you do in this course is so that I can give you feedback. And then in week 7, you're going to submit the final PowerPoint. You'll have all of the 7 weeks worth of homework. We'll fill in those slides. And throughout the course, you're basically prettifying and making the slides look nice. At some point, probably in week 2 or 3, I'll try to upload a sample uh, uh, assignment that's been done in the past, just so you'll have a rough idea what that final assignment looks like. The discussion forum is, is this your first class that you're taking with the university, or have you been in the university for a while?
No, this is my 3rd class.
Third, so you're familiar with how the discussion forums work and that you're supposed to.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll talk to at least 2 fellow students each week. The homework assignment is due by midnight Thursday, and then you have until Sunday to respond to your peers. Until you post your homework, you won't see the other students' posts. And again, that's done because there's no restriction. Students can end up doing the same country, but they don't want you to see their homework until you've submitted your own.
Gotcha.
The course is built on the concept that you're building on each week's activities. And so as you progress through the course, you're always looking at my feedback and your peers' feedback, and you're correcting the homework so that final assignment is the best you can make it. Because the weekly ones, although they count for grade, it's the final assignment that carries the majority of the point count. And so therefore, by doing it this way, you're getting feedback at least twice on every single week, so that you have an opportunity to correct any errors that you may make or oversights.
Nice.
Then you should, if you haven't already done it, you should be enrolling in the My Management Lab.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I kind of had questions about, because I didn't understand. Like, I seen the assignments and it said videos, but I didn't know how to get to the videos.
Right. If you go, let me just see. All right. It may not let me get in with this. Let me just click that and see if it'll let me in. It doesn't like the computer that I'm on currently. So the videos, there's the videos are there. Now let me just tell you what. While we're talking, let me do this. Let me close this
Okay.
down and go in through a different uh, software and see if it'll let me get in there. Within my video, within my assignment, uh, you're going to see the homework assignments. You'll be able to see the book as far as the reading material. Let's see. It's not giving me access here either. I'm traveling, so I'm using my notebook computer, and it may not give me access. Let's just see. And you've got 3 quizzes: week 1, week 2, and week 5. There's a quiz that refers to the reading that you have to take, and it's a self-grading quiz. And the videos are in there, but I'm going to see if I can get in. If for some reason I can't get in tonight here, I'll try to get you instructions on it in the classroom.
Okay.
Have you ever
Because that,
used it before?
no, it's my first time, and I actually pressed on one of the quizzes. I don't know if I like submitted it, but I think it may have counted, but I never answered any of the questions.
Well,
That's what I was worried about too.
you're allowed to take the quiz 3 times. So, for
Okay.
example, let's say the first time you took, it doesn't, evidently, I can't get into that site right now. Let me just, it's giving me some kind of an error message.
I had just clicked on it, and then I seen that it was a quiz, so I hurried up and exit out of it,
All right.
hoping that it didn't count.
Well, you get 3 times to take it, so you can retake it, even if it counted for you the first time. I'll go in there at the end of the week and I'll grade the last one you submitted.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you won't have to worry about getting penalized, even if the first one had none. If you're concerned
Okay.
about it, you can always send me an email. So and remind me, but this week you'll go in through here. You have to register. When I get on my home computer later in the week, I'll go in there and I'll try and find the instructions on the video. I think if you click around the reading and so forth, you'll see them. They come up as part of the reading assignment. So have you gone in and looked at the reading part of that site?
I did, but I didn't see like a book or anything like that to click on.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming that it was going to be set up like my previous class where I can just click on and the book pops up. But
it's in there. It's in there.
Okay.
Let me just look here and see if I can find a different password to get in that might let me. Because if I can get into it, I can show it to you.
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on a second now. I'm going through another site trying to get the password because I don't remember it. Okay. I don't think that's the. Okay, let's see. All right. So when I go to course home right here,
Okay.
if you
Hmm.
notice right here, it says these are the chapters and the video exercises right here.
Okay, and that's what I clicked on.
Okay. And when you click on it, you get these questions.
Yes.
When you click on that,
That did not happen when I clicked on it.
these are
Oh,
the
yes.
actual, these are, you get these quizzes. So this is the quiz element of the video exercise.
Oh, I see. I see. I didn't see the little top where it has the video.
Yeah. And if
Okay.
you click on that, it'll then play the video. And then once you finish the video, you come back and answer the question.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Now I see.
Yeah. So it's that's how it would physically work. And then you're going to go through each of these questions. And then when you're done, you hit the OK. And it should then grade the 1.1 exercise for that
Okay.
for you. And then there's a 2 and a 5. So this is the one that's due this week. You can take them as soon as you want, or you can take them as late as you want.
Okay.
Then let me just look here and see if I can find the other here.
But they have to be done by Sunday.
Sunday
Uh,
midnight. Midnight.
gotcha.
So this week you're only required to do the chapter one. This one's due week 2, and this one's due in week 5. You can do them as soon as you want. If you take it during the week, let's say you took the week uh, 1 quiz and you got an 80, but you did it
Okay.
before Sunday. Between now and the end of the course, week 8, you're allowed to retake the quiz at least 2 more times, and whatever is your highest grade, that's what you get.
Gotcha. Okay.
But you have, as long as you take the original assignment on time, the first one on time, then you'll be fine. Study plan. I'm trying to remember because my site's different than yours. So
Gotcha.
these are practice under the study plan. These are practice activities. Result. There's the e-text. If you go to Parsons e-text, complete Parsons e-text,
Mhm.
and it should come up with the book. Okay, it's my computer. Uh, Evidently doesn't have this. Again, this is my notebook. That's not my desktop. But let's just see what I get. So I don't have all this stuff loaded on it. But this should open up and eventually give me the book. Yeah. So there's the book, and here are all the chapters right here.
Okay.
And so that's where you go to find the book. You should have a tab. Let me close this one down. You should have a tab that says e-text,
Okay.
and that's where your textbook would be, and that will give you access to the entire book, so that you don't have to purchase another book except getting into this area. Multimedia library will be other elements like flashcards and videos that you can get about the book itself. It's just additional study notes.
Nice.
Okay. This discussion forums here are different. These don't count. You can do them for your own edification, but they're not the discussion forums that are in the classroom. Because when you go back here, these are the discussion forums that you're graded on. Okay. These are the ones for each of the weeks. You're going to find it in the announcements. I have a lot of material in the announcements, and so I would encourage you as soon as possible to read all those because they include, and each week I'll be giving you additional comments and lectures. For week 1, it's talking about things like the late assignments. This is the access to some of the online sources and material. And then I've given you some information about how to be successful in the course as far as discussion forums. This is a sample of the grading rubric that's used for the assignments and for discussion forum. And then there's a little bit of information here welcoming you to the class from me. And then a reminder of what the deliverables are. And this is later in the course, you'll be talking about bribery and corruption. And this kind of gives you some additional information about that for when you get there. And then a reminder that we never use Wikipedia as a source or a reference. Now, what I tell students, there's nothing wrong if you want to use Wikipedia to look at it to get started, to find where you're going to go. Just do not ever use it as a reference.
Okay.
Okay? And then there's the note about tonight's meeting. So there's a lot of good information in the announcement section. So I'm going to stop for a minute. I think we may have received one other member of the audience
Okay.
and answer any questions that you may have that I haven't addressed. Again, this was kind of just expected to be like probably a 15-minute discussion for us to answer and make people feel warm and fuzzy about what the course was designed to do. So, is there anything that you have that I have not answered for you, or that you're still confused about?
No, you actually answered the main question that I had, which was the My Management Lab.
Hmm. Okay. And
That
of
helped
course,
me out.
yeah. And if you have any problems afterwards, drop me a note, and I'll see what I can do to correct it. The key thing to keep in mind in this class is to try and have fun with it. Try and use some graphics, some art, charts. You each week before you start your assignment, look at this sample and use that
Mhm.
template. And if you follow that template and just basically do the same thing for your country, then you'll do flawlessly in the course and you won't have any problems. Uh,
Now, I'm sorry. At the top, do you want it to be formatted like that with in the graph, like the lines and everything?
it should be as close to this as you can. I'm not worried about things like the school's name and so forth, but I am looking for this kind of material. You should be using a map. You should be embedding a map so that people can see what your country looks like and where it is. And I encourage you to use tables because one of the problems students get into is, if you notice, all of this is done with tables and bullets.
Okay.
This is not a paper. You're not expected to write an essay. What you're doing and what you're practicing here is, imagine you are in a company and the chairman of the board came to you
Mm-hmm.
and your boss and said, we're thinking about entering country XYZ. Go and research it and give me some information about it. Well, you would never write a 30-page paper and hand it to your CEO. He or she wouldn't read it. So what you'd use bullets and crisp comments and tables to give them the data that will allow them to understand. And
Gotcha.
if you go to let me close this down. If you go up into the course information and course material area, there's a lot of good information here about the assignment. Here's your grading rubric. So that's going to show you for each of the week's assignments, it's going to show you what the assignment for that week looks like and how we're going to grade it. Right
Okay.
here's the template you're going to use for the final assignment. So if you open that up, it's a PowerPoint and you're going to be submitting it in PowerPoint. And if you notice, it gives you a sample of what the slides might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And so each of the slides you're going to develop as you're working on the project over the next 8 weeks is going to be data that would go in these slides. And for example, you can notice on this first one, here's that map that I showed you on that first sample. And this happens to be Turkey. And then you would fill in the information that applies to your country for that slide and for the future slides that come along. So if you're kind of using this, now what I encourage students to do is make your homework for the week, get my feedback, and then come in and actually move that information into a template and save it, and just do it each week as you move along. And then this is what you're going to submit for your checkpoint. You're going to submit this PowerPoint partially completed, only reflecting the material that you've done so far.
Gotcha.
And then just keep in mind that while the presentation isn't finished, each checkpoint, as you move the material over there, also move these references, because you have to have references to support where your data came from.
Okay.
Okay, so that link right here will be very useful. There's also here a final guide manual that kind of helps you understand how to do the project. And then this is the grading rubric that I'm going to use to grade this project. So when you open that up and look at it, what I encourage students to do is print this out and have it laying next to you for your final project. Because if you notice, it has, if you want to get a perfect score, these represent the names of each of the slides on the presentation on the left-hand side. This tells you what would be in that slide if it was perfect. And if you go to slide number 1 which is the introduction and the rationale, and you do this on that slide, then you should get a perfect score. And that's the case all the way through. And if you do that, it makes the opportunity for you to receive a good grade much easier because you're actually seeing what people how I'm going to grade it. Okay, so that's what that will do, and then throughout uh, throughout the rest of the material, you're going to find uh, under course information, you're also going to find here's your lab information that should help. Writing instructions, tutorials if you need it. Uh, let's see. Then, of course, the student service information. And then under course information, here's your syllabus. That's mine. You don't see that normally. The grading rubrics again. So there's a lot of good information that I encourage you to come and look. Under learning modules, you'll see when the assignments are due throughout the course. So you could use this to track your performance, more information about the lab, and then this is the detailed information for each of the week's assignments. And it will tell you all the things by week that are due and when they're due. And if you're following this and using it as a checkpoint, you'll always have your homework on time. And as you can see, there's a lot of good information about, and this is week 1. These are some videos that will help you as far as understanding the project. The required reading for this week, and then here's a place you can go to pick a country, and this is designed to help you understand uh, the countries that you're going to find material on. Because if you pick something that's a real small country that's kind of like off the map, then you may not be able to always find the information you want. And then these are some tutorials on how to use PowerPoint if you don't know how to use it. And you'll find that is the case with each and every week. And these are guidances on those weekly assignments. Okay? Anything else that I can help you with?
No, I'm fine.
It looks like we have Frederica, I think is listening. It looks like she's having problems with her audio, and she was having some problems hearing. It may be, Frederica, that whatever you were listening to may have been an initial recording because we've been talking since about 6 o'clock. I will be uploading this video to the classroom probably tomorrow or tonight. So you'll be able to go back and re-listen it along with any of your classmates. There'll be a place where this video is posted for you to ask any questions that you may have. But again, I would encourage you to look at all these links that I'm showing you here, and they will help you with things like the quizzes and the homework assignments and the timeline. And they're designed to ensure that you know exactly when things are due. This course is very interesting. It's normally challenging if people don't stay on top of it, because if you get late, then you've got 2 assignments that are due and you're fighting to get that done. I allow students to submit the weekly submission on your country. Even if you do so after the weekends, you just will get points for tardiness, but you cannot post your peer posts after once Sunday comes. You have to answer your 2 peer messages during the week because they don't allow you to make those up after the fact. But if you have a crisis or an issue that makes it where you can't post your country information on time, which would be Thursday, you can post it in even after the week's over with, and I'll give you partial credit. Anything else I can help you with?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I'm willing to schedule these type of meetings throughout the course if necessary. There's quite a bit of data in the class. The key right now is select your country and post a note telling us, who your country is, and then start working on the assignment that's due for Thursday. And you'll find one student's already posted, and you'll see the feedback that I gave him on his assignment. That's what you'll get back from me, something to that effect. There's always a bullet point that gives you some details about that week that's specific to the weekly assignment, and then I'll normally have comments specific to your assignment at the end of it, helping you to try and improve it. Okay? I'm always available. I'm in the classroom every single day, and if you post, I will respond, and if we need to talk, we can make an appointment or we can make a live meeting If I see people struggling, I normally plan another one of these about the middle of the course, week 3 or 4, to try and help people get through the process and not be frustrated. Okay. If you have nothing else, that's really all I have, and I'll hang around a few minutes, see if anybody else shows up. Frederica, if you can't hear us, go ahead and send me a text message with your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them for you as well.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Good night.
Good night.